Testing. 1, 2, 3. All right, everyone, we are live. Welcome back to another Friday night live stream here at Christ-Centered Ironworks. It's good to be home. It is good to be in my shop. And I look forward to doing this live stream this evening. Real quick, for all of those that are watching this on the replay, every other Friday we do a Friday night live stream, and this live stream, or the second live stream of the month, is a special live stream because we are giving away one Holland Anvil Swage block. So Jessica, if you could pop that up on screen there.
Sure can.
So this was provided to us by Holland Anvil. He partnered with us to make it possible for us to give away 12 free Swage blocks this year. Which is awesome. We're affectionately calling it the Year of the Swage. That's what we're affectionately calling this year. Last year was the Year of the Anvil. This year we're giving away 12 free Swage blocks. So this would make what? Swage block number 4?
Number 5.
Number 5. Yep, Swage block
right.
number 5 that we've given away. Or we will. It will be Swage block number 5. So stick around. Hopefully you guys will maybe have a chance to win at it. Also, we will have additional door prizes that are open internationally that will go anywhere in the world. But the Swage block is to the United States and Puerto Rico, sadly, because that's where the shipping lies.
That's correct.
Don't blame us. Blame how expensive everything is to ship these days. Blame that. So we also had a new Bellows boy, a channel member, join us before we got going on here, and I want to acknowledge them real quick.
It is Tim O'Connor.
Tim O'Connor. Thank you, Tim O'Connor, for becoming a channel member and supporting what we do here at Christ-Centered Ironworks. It is greatly appreciated. So, who do we all have in the house this evening, Jess?
Well, we have
In the
Elijah
forge.
Roush.
Hey,
Kyle Jones,
Eli. Huh?
Dale Sheelewick.
Hello, hello.
Martin Brule Jr., Lose Your Life. Titus Blacksmith Forge, Board to Gov.
Hello, hello.
Dana Maggiore.
Dana.
And Burnt Pot Pies just joined as a Bellows boy again.
Well, thank you, Burnt Pot Pies. Glad you joined as a Bellows boy again.
Alice says, hey Jess, good to be back. Looking forward to my new necklace. Yeah, I'm going to be working on that whale here soon. I got the whale portion of it set out so I can work on it.
Yeah.
So for sure. Let's see, Robert Whitney says, Roy, I hear you couldn't take the heat in Ohio last week. I had the same 2 weeks ago in Portland, Indiana. This morning, the Long Johns were the first thing on my mind.
Yeah, so, yeah, I could take the heat, I just don't like it. I just don't like the heat. So I am not a hot weather type of person. More power to you if you like the hot weather, but just not my bag. And it's gotten worse ever since I moved up here into the north. So like right now, I think our temperatures since we've been back have been like 70s and then down now in the 40s. So,
yeah.
Which I'll take any day over 80 and 90 degree temps, which was in Ohio while we were there doing this bowl and vessel making class. But I still had a good time, had a great time teaching and instructing. Always a lot of fun to do that down there at Goshen, Ohio. And so if you guys do get a chance to go take one of the classes, many classes they offer in Goshen, Ohio, you should really go check out Jamie Geyer over there at the Goshen Historical Society. I don't know, they got a long name. It's like GHTTS something
Goshen
abbreviated
Historical
blacksmithing.
Society School of Blacksmithing.
Goshen Historical Society School of Blacksmithing. And you thought my channel name was long. Even the acronym for that is long. So anyways, yeah, definitely go check them out for classes. I think they've got Brian Brazil coming out this year. They just had the House Brothers out. They've got, I don't know, they've got a whole bunch of stuff. I've got a garden bench class coming up in July down there, which I don't know why I selected for July. Why, oh why did Roy select for July? But
I said that needs
anyways,
to be a December class.
yeah. How about like an early February class? You know, that sounds really good. Sounds really good. So, all right. So tonight we're going to get back on this wrought iron hammer build here. I've got the hammer. If you want to go to camera number 2, Jessica, real quick.
Yep.
So I've got the hammer all prepped and ready to be forge welded together. We did the peen in the last live stream that we did on this. We already welded in with a bird's mouth weld the actual cross or the straight peen portion of this hammer, and so now we need to actually weld on the face before we go ahead and punch our eye. So that's what we're going to be working on now. I did elect to just go ahead and cheat a little bit, if you will, because I need to get this done. I just need to get this done and off my docket of things to do. So I did put some tack welds on the top side and the bottom side of the hammer, not on the show sides of the hammer. That's very important. These will get ground out after I make up my weld. Once I get my weld, those are going to get ground out to where there won't be a residue, hopefully and preferably, of those tack welds there. But yeah, so I cleaned up the in between the faces and have prepped it for welding. So we're going to get that in the fire so it can be heating up while we jibber jab and jaw on. So by the way, I should mention, I'm going to put the peen end in first. Not that I need this to come up to welding heat, but I need to heat the body of this material sufficiently before the high carbon tool steel face. I want to get more heat into the low carbon area and then flip it around and bring the high carbon steel area up to temp to match.
Tim O'Connor, glad that you enjoyed my Instagram comment over on your page. I like finding other similar pictures when people post those. Let's see, Burnt Pot Pies, he joined as a Bellows Boy, along with, I might have said that one already, but definitely not Black Collar, joined as a Bellows Boy again. In addition to, nope, not Black Collar either. So we've got the Black Collar crew in the chat.
Looks like the Black Collar Army is in full swing this evening. So thank you very, 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 very much. Greatly appreciated.
Also a $20 super chat from Lose Your Life says Jesus is Lord.
Amen, brother. Thank you so much for that $20 super chat. Amen, amen.
Stephen Watkins. Am I interrupting?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Stephen Watkins says, Minion Smithy is finally here. Better late than never. Make that hammer, Roy.
Woohoo! Will do, will do. Oh.
And Lyle, welcome from Kansas Prairie Forge. Say hello to Diana and your granddaughter for us.
Yeah, say hello, Lyle.
Bar Run Forge Troy says, I look a little cooler than I was last Saturday. Yeah, the temperature is about cut in half of what it was last Saturday.
Yeah. Way better. These are my temps. I wouldn't mind if it was sweatshirt weather all year long. That's fine by me.
Black Collar Army also joined as a Bellows Boy. I don't know how it's possible to have that many accounts open at one time. Like, I'm just thinking you have to switch between all of them.
You're going to have to ask him. You'll have to ask him how he does that.
He's got like 7 computers up right now.
Yeah, he's got 7 computers open right now. He's got 7 phones. That's secretly what it is. He's really a spy. And he's got like 7 different burner phones he's using at any one given time. Oh. Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to keep bringing that up to heat. So this is going to take some time, some considerable time to heat up, like any of the forge welding videos that I've done around forge welding up a big hammer like this. There is a lot of mass into this thing. We did have about 4 pounds of material. That was the high carbon steel face plus the actual wrought iron, what was left over and stuff. I did end up chopping some of the wrought iron off because I didn't need it for the whole piece, and I did end up cutting down some of the high carbon tool steel face as well. And now we're sitting right around 3-ish pounds. So I removed about 1 pound of material, which is okay because we're going to probably lose an additional pound of material by the time everything's finished ground, whole slugs are punched through, all the welding takes place. Wrought iron has a tendency, as you refine it, as you forge weld things to it, to really dump a lot of mass and scale. So, you know, that ends up in scale, and the silicas in it ooze out and come out. So it does get quite a bit of reduction. So all in all, hopefully I know I will end up exactly at a 2-pound hammer, which the client was looking for. So it should work out really, really well.
Comment?
Comments, questions,
All right.
concerns. If I shut my mouth for longer than 3 seconds,
Just throw it
slip
at
it
ya.
in there.
Judson's Discretionary Metalworks says, Denny Judson here. Full class was awesome.
Denny, you are an awesome, awesome man to meet. Can't say enough about Denny. If I had to pick favorites, he's pretty close. Pretty close to my favorite in class. I loved his enthusiasm. So, yeah, he's going to get started in this whole career path as a blacksmith, which I'm super excited to see how that comes along for him. So thank you for being here, Denny. And thank you for taking the class with me.
We also have Scott Mills from Jesse Jones Park Volunteer Blacksmiths joining us.
Hello. Hello. I wasn't even going to attempt to take and
Repeat that all back.
repeat all that back. So, man, I really feel fidgety when I'm waiting on metal to heat up, you know, because everybody's like sitting here like, okay, Roy, get to the action. We're here to see you sweating and beating some steel.
You're all
And
right.
It's just like, nope, just waiting on that little baby loaf to come out of the oven.
Somebody said the welding was cheating.
Oh, the welding is cheating, so, maybe. But you still have a lot
the hard way
of, there's
before.
still a lot of welding that you have to do. Now, originally what I was going to do with this hammer is I was actually going to prick up some barbs along the edge and use that to fix the face. But with everything else that I've got going on, having to manage and cameras and being on YouTube, being live here, I don't want to fool with it. Just put a couple tack welds on there. Really, the tack welds are superficial, and that's really key. If you're going to tack weld this up with electric weld, do not lay in a heavy bead. You don't want that in your final result, right? Once you've ground it, anything else, especially if you're going to etch this thing at some point in time, you don't want to have a tail of a big, ugly, boogery arc weld in there. So you really want your welds to be at an absolute minimum when you put some arc welds on there, just to, you know, cheat. But again, they've had the ability to weld through other welding processes besides forge welding since like 1906. So I think that's the first arc welder was then, and before 1906 they had acetylene welding. So yeah,
A couple of questions about your project.
traditional.
Daniel asked what steel you used for the faces.
So the steel faces, both faces are 1045. Yep.
And Patrick Gill said, what was the average starting stock?
Really can't tell you. The reason why I can't tell you, the faces themselves were cut from a piece of 1045 round, 2 inches in diameter, and then I just kind of forged it out to what I needed. Reshaped it to a square face and had a little chunk cut off that I then made the peen of the actual hammer here. The wrought iron body itself started off as a slab that was probably 1 inch thick, somewhere around there, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick by 2 inches wide. And then it got flopped back onto itself and then forge welded once and then reshaped to the way it sits now. So, and we're sitting roughly at about 1.5 inches square by, say, 4.5, 5 inches long.
Gordon Farmer, thank you for the poop emoji sticker.
Oh, to say thank you for the poop emoji stickers, huh?
Yeah, it's a little weird, but hey.
Just a little weird, but that's all right. We'll say thank you nonetheless.
That's right. Lyle, congratulations on the new grandbaby. I'm glad to hear Paisley's done 2 of the practice heart blanks.
Awesome. Congratulations.
PJ says, Roy, where's a good place to get cheap quality metal?
If you have a local scrapyard that'll allow you to buy from it, that's about it. If you're talking here in Michigan, I have no clue as of yet. There are some places that are about, 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours south of us here. We haven't been to them, so I really couldn't say whether they're any good or not. I do know, I know in Dayton, there's First Street Recycling. talk to the guy by the name of Rodell. Tell him Roy sent you. And he'll hook you up. That's a really good cheap price. That's really a good cheap place to go and with a big variety of cheap steel to get a hold of. So, but yeah, other than that, don't know up here. I basically buy all my stuff from Alro, which is not cheap. Not cheap steel at all. So it's all brand new prices I usually find myself paying.
Derek Ardron says, I recently started out. I used Roy's video on skewers to make my own set and then used them to cook up a great dinner.
Awesome.
One with the Forge says, I made my own coal forge. What do you use as a blower?
Right now what I'm using as a blower is a little Dayton blower. It's like 120-ish CFM, I believe. It's just enough. It's actually a little underpowered for heating up an entire mass like a hammer like this. It's a little bit underpowered for this with the coke that's in here. I know the flames look impressive, but that's just because of the camera. It picks up all the excess light that's being emitted off the flames. But I do have another blower over there that I'm not running because you guys wouldn't be able to hear me with it running in the shop. And it is a big shop dust collector blower. And I believe that thing pushes out over 600 cubic foot a minute airflow. And that is really good at blowing air. I mean, it'll blow that coke right up out of the fire pot. It's got so much air. So there's really a balance there. Regular forging in this, 100 CFM all day long. That's all you're really needing. The hand crank blower that I've got attached to the forge is a Champion 400, so it puts out 400 cubic foot a minute of airflow. So you could do that. Use that as your baseline, anywhere from 100 to 600. Say 4, split the difference. 3 or 4 is in the middle there. That's what you kind of would like ideally to be really well rounded.
Dogbone Knives and Joe Tanis, thanks for joining us.
Hello, hello.
Metalworks says, yay, made it to my first live stream.
Woohoo! Everybody give him a congratulatory clap. Glad to have you here. So, I've been working on the fly press a little bit. I really haven't had the chance since I've gotten, over the last, I was telling Jessica some of my woes with this. Over the last 2 months, roughly, I have not been able to have like a free run day in the shop to where I could just go after the things I need to get done. It's always been in preparation for or coming back from some sort of event and or teaching or gigs or meetings or meet and greets with people, whatever. It's been nonstop here, and it looks like I got yet a whole nother month of that yet in my in my time envelope here, or on my scheduling. And so today was the first day in a long while I was able to just do something for the shop that I wanted to get done, just to get done and have a little bit of a play on stuff. So I will have some new content coming out on the fly press. I did some forging on the fly press, which is cool. I made a die for it. I don't know if you guys can see back here. Can they see that anvil there, Jeff?
Yeah.
As you can see, I got a very big fly press. It's got a lot of space, a lot of daylight space. So I was able to actually use a cheap 55-pound pro-grade anvil that you can get on the internet there as my bottom die for my fly press here. Now, the other bad side, so there's a downside to having such a tall fly press with a lot of space, is that that die doesn't come all the way down, so it stops like that short of when it's closed, when it's fully closed, of hitting the bottom. So I have to build up to it if I want to do anything, or I've got to come from the ram down, which generally is a lot weaker if you do it that way. So anyway, so I'm going to be working in my free time of trying to develop tooling and film and do stuff around that. But I was able to do a little bit of that today as we were you know, getting ready for the live stream, I was able to do some filming and some forging. So that was nice. It was nice to be able to do that.
Woodland Ironworks says, loved your ebook bundle. Lots of great info. Your product photos are amazing. Looks like I've got a lot to learn. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm actually currently working on another ebook. This one's going to be on the basics of enameling, and I'll have that out sometime this summer.
Jessica's your gal for that. All right, I'm going to pull out that dreaded thing. The thing that shall remain nameless in the forge. Don't you dare say it.
Well, they're definitely
It's some
gonna
white
say it.
fluffy stuff. Well, not fluffy. White crystallized stuff, if you will. So when welding up wrought iron to high carbon tool steel, or you've got dissimilar materials, you have a higher carbon steel and you got a lower carbon steel, and I'm going to speak specifically to wrought iron itself. Wrought iron is self-fluxing, if you will. It will basically, it wants to be together and be one homogenized mass. You can just fold it, bend it, add pieces to it, and it just mushes together nicely and really grabs and holds on and makes really nice welds. When you mix the two, when you mix the wrought iron with a homogenized steel, a high carbon steel, those two grain structures don't like to play well together. And so therefore having the flux be there to help as a cleaning agent to clean out between your joints until you can get that weld material to start fusing together and really take in strong is imperative for hammer work. If you're doing stuff by hand and you don't have a forge, like I don't right here, I can't bring this whole billet, this whole wrought iron billet, which is, again, 3 pounds of material now. I can't bring the whole thing up to scalding hot welding heat. I can't bring the whole piece up to welding heat. I can bring one end of it up to welding heat, and so therefore the other end's drawing a bit of the heat out. So I've got to constantly, I will have to go back to the fire a couple times to get a good solid forge weld all the way across the face. What that means for us is that means there's going to be more oxygen, there's going to be more chances for it to scale up. That's going to happen, so we use the flux to clean that scale from between the joints while we consolidate the billet completely. So I've got the one end really, getting a lot hotter. Everything's kind of coming up to the same temp. The high carbon steel isn't as hot just yet, which is good, and that's kind of where we want it to be. I'm going to go ahead and throw on a little bit of flux onto the piece now. Well, we can go to camera number 2, Jessica.
All right, and somebody asked if that's a specific brand of Blacksmith snow.
Yeah, the Blacksmith snow I'm using is anhydrous. It's anhydrous borax. It's a commercialized version. This has got granules in it. It's like much more like coarse table salt versus like your 20 mule team borax, which is just like, it's powder. It's more like a talcum powder or something. So I like using this stuff. I got this from Jamie Geyer. He had a stash of it, and it's really good stuff. So, are we at camera number 2?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So this looks way hotter on camera than what it is. This is more like a dull,
It's like
a dull yellow, basically. It's more like, it looks more like the end of the piece than what it does elsewhere. So we're going to put that sprinkles on those two sides. And what that'll do is that'll wick its way through all the way out to the bottom sides, the sides that we didn't touch. So it'll wick its way through the joint. When we put it back in the fire, it'll pull through the joint and flush that flux out to the outer. It'll flush the scale, the iron oxides, out to the edges of the weld joint. So now we're going to stick this back in here, and we're going to try to get it covered up here and bring this thing up to a much higher temperature for welding.
Patrick Gill says, beyond scale, would a borax or flux coating keep decarburization from eating away at the high carbon steel?
That's not really what the flux is intended to do. There are all different types of fluxes out there. There's a whole bunch out there. What they've got in their chemical makeup, I couldn't tell you. I know on this, it's just more of a cleaning detergent. That's what it is. Just think of it as a detergent. It's meant to clean the scale. It eats the scale on the surface of the material, and then it, by capillary action, it moves it out to the outside edges of your joint so it can be expelled when you hit it for the first time with your hammer there. As far as coating it to stop decarburization, things like that, most of the decarburization that you're going to have is negligible if you are efficient at getting your welds done. If you left this billet sit in your gas forge for 9 hours straight while you try to get a weld going, you're going to have all sorts of decarb probably happen on the piece at a welding heat. It's going to happen. But for the relatively short period of time that you should be forging and stuff, the scale, this will have a negligible effect. Very negligible effect.
Daniel Crawford asked, what's your opinion of adding iron filings in with the borax?
Iron filings are a great way. Again, they're not. It's not a glue. I have to make it real clear. Flux is not glue. All right, so you don't use flux as a glue. It's not a candy coating that protects and stops oxygen from getting out of the surface of material. It's none of those things. It's a cleaning agent. So it's meant to clean, like I said, the joint of the material. That's what its whole purpose is. That's how it functions. It's how it functions if you do plumbing solder work. It's how it functions if you're, well, I'll back the truck up. Arc welding, right? You got flux in there, right? It's to protect, it's to clean. It's like a cleaning agent. And then with arc welding, it protects the joint afterwards, right? As the weld pool cools. But in this case, it doesn't. It just, you slap it, the first time you hit it, most and the majority of all that flux is gone. So that's what it's there for. So iron filings, they work. What they're really great at, iron filings are really great at hiding scarf joints. So if you've got a particular toe of a scarf that is just not going away while you're forging it, it's kind of critical. If you add some iron filings in with your flux and put a little bit of that on there, the flux kind of helps it move into place or kind of get tacky or stay in spot. Bring that thing up to a welding heat and whack those iron filings, it kind of just blends off your welds. It's a really great way of doing that, to hide toes of scarves and stuff. But some guys feel like that makes it a little bit more tacky, and I've felt that too. That if you have flux where it kind of feels like if you got two pieces in the fire separate that you kind of put out and you try to get it to get those to weld together, sometimes they feel a little slippery on each other. Especially if you put way too much flux on them. If you throw some iron filings in your flux, they feel a little more tacky when you bring them out. And most of these Iron Mountain fluxes and all those other like specialty Black Magic and all these specialty fluxes, they have some sort of ratio of iron filings in them as part of their makeup. Or at least they used to. Long time ago when I got it, when I seen a demonstration on it at SOFA anyhow. That's kind of what they were doing.
Are you?
What else?
Some more questions about flux. I was just gonna make sure you could. It would.
No, keep going. We're good. It's going to take a minute.
Sure. What Kohlberg Forge? What did they use before flux?
What did they use before flux?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, in the days of wrought iron, they'd use sand because that's what it was predominantly has made of. The silica that's inside of the wrought iron is very similar to clean white beach sand. So, you know, they would just use sand as a flux, if you will.
Jason Webb says, will flux help a dirty joint weld, or does the joint still need to be clean?
Depends on how much. It can only help so much, okay? So if you've got it to where you've got heavy scale that you need, like when you scrape it across your anvil, you got big flakes falling off your piece, flux isn't going to help that at all. It might help break it up some, but it's not going to expel that out. So you have to start with a clean joint, and then the flux just prevents the occurrence of surface oxidization. So it won't prevent it, it will just clean whatever starts to occur while you're bringing your piece up to welding heat. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I'm speaking all that in one cohesive thought there.
Yeah, Brittingham Forge worded it like this: it displaces oxygen with CO2 as it burns.
The flux does?
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Kansas Prairie Forge says, Roy has said, if you can see your steel, soak in the oxygen. It's a
Yep.
Roy quote.
Very true. Trying to bring this up this extra little bit. Hopefully we can get there without too much burning and charring. Really, I need to have the other blower hooked up to this so I can get a lot of airflow into my pile so I can get a big heaving mass of coke for this. I'm pushing the forge to what its limit is right now. I've got my little blower all the way open, which is just to get the fire pot hot enough. But you have to maintain a neutral zone, and so as I shift the hammer around in the fire, I'm shifting some of the coke down underneath it to try to get it hot because it's constantly reducing. If I don't do that enough, what ends up happening is that fire pot burns hollow in there, and then the hammer drops down into the oxygenated portion of the fire, and then you're going to have a whole bunch of sparks, and you're going to burn more than what you're going to heat and get things hot enough.
Prophet 2004 says, is it possible to forge weld without flux?
Yep. Do it all the time.
I think we have a couple of videos on that.
That is my preferred method of forge welding, is without flux. Now, like I said, when it comes to the high carbon steel and the wrought iron, it tends to like a little bit of flux to clean the joint. By the time everything's up to temperature, because the wrought iron, there's such a big difference. The wrought iron it's a lower carbon content or almost non-existent carbon content material versus the high carbon content material. The high carbon always heats faster than what the low carbon does. So by the time the low carbon gets up there, your high carbon's been at a state where it's kind of oxidizing away for a little while. So it's good to have the flux in there to help mend those two together.
Jason Webb says, do you have to worry much about decarb on a tool steel hammer face like that?
No, not really. Any decarb that you're going to have on a hammer face like this is going to be very superficial. It's going to be on something you're going to grind away anyhow. It's going to get worked out at any point. There's not a ton of carbon in this right now anyhow. It's just it's 1045. There's not crazy amounts of carbon in there, and if it does decarb a little bit, it's oh well, it's par for the course. Same thing as if the face scorches a little bit. If it starts burning a little bit on some of the corners or an edge, that doesn't matter as long as I don't let it go too far where it's just a pool, right? It's just dripping off steel. If I let it go to that point, I've lost it. Got to wop the face off and try again. If you bring it up and you're getting up to the point where it's got, if it is sparking off a little bit, usually in tool steel, in blades, so to speak, or in tooling, like if you're doing a cold chisel or something like that, that is just considered ruined at that point. With a big honking chunk of material like this, all that's going to get ground away. So any decarb you have is going to go bye-bye when you hit it to the belt sander. Oh, we're getting there. We are close, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
To our first weld here.
Steve Nolan asked if you've ever used wood ash for flux.
Nope, never have. I've always been 20 mule team borax when I was using that, and now I've been using this little can here for 2 years now, and I haven't made a dent in it. You can go camera number 2.
Yeah, hardly.
So
Still 3/4
it was maybe
full.
an inch higher than it is right now in the can, and that's after 2 years of use. So because mainly I forge weld without flux for the majority of the work that I do, most ornamental work.
Troy says, great. Roy one-upped me again. Was prepping wrought iron and 1045 for a hammer. Darn you, Roy. LOL. This hammer's been in the works for a while, though. It's like the hammer
One-upped you since
showdown.
like 10 years ago when I started making some wrought iron hammers. Oh, no one-upping necessary. You just do you, brother. I want to see your attempt. It's going to be great. I believe in you.
Neil Crocker says, thanks for all the info about welding. Haven't tried it yet.
Very welcome.
Lyle says, aren't you adding carbon from the coal?
Negligible. Again, negligible. Decarb and adding carb is completely negligible in the forging experience in the environment right now. Just like if you wanted to case harden something, you usually have to let it bake with the case hardening compound for many hours, 12 hours or so, right? You've got to let it kind of soak in and absorb stuff, right? Same thing if you're going to decarb something. Decarb is going to take many hours to do. It's going to take a lot of work for you to move that needle any appreciable amount when it comes to that. And I may be dead wrong on that statement, but what we do as a blacksmith shouldn't have that big of an effect on the actual material properties when you're talking about such a big chunky piece of material. It should not have that much of an effect. The worst thing you could do is me get distracted and then we just melt the face into down, and then obviously that had a big effect, right? But as far as like what the carbon content is, I'm not going to go check it. Like, I'm not going to check it after it's done. I'm just going to, once the hammer's finished, I'm going to heat treat it, and I'm going to harden it and temper it and put it in use. So there's not a, or at least my client will put it in use. There's no point in obsessing about some of that stuff. Just like in forge welding here, the things I'm doing for forge welding, this is another perfect example. I can tell you all these little nuanced things about forge welding, but at the end of the day, what are we really doing? We are heating the material up in preferably an oxygen-reduced environment to a point in which the surface will become tacky or molten, and then we are squeezing those two planes or those two surfaces together to make a weld. That's it. If you keep it simple like that, you could, you'll do all right, especially if you've never welded before. Having all this additional information, it's good for diagnosing why a weld didn't take or why a weld didn't stick. It's good for that, but when it goes into making the weld, you just need to be confident that you can make the weld and then step out there and make the weld. You just have to get after it and get it welded. So.
Burnt Pot Pie sent a $5 super chat who says, don't flex in the cranky pixies. They want to be free, Roy. Tear.
Thank you, Burnt Pot Pies.
Tim O'Connor says, how is the treatment holding up on the Achio anvil, and have you needed to redo the finish?
Nope, I haven't. It's been holding up well. It's a little rusty on the surface just because there's moisture that likes to sit there, but the rest of it's still black. It's holding up good. Still holding up good.
Martin Brule Jr. says, what happened to the flex can?
What happened to the what?
The flex can. They're commenting on how it's crinkled on the top.
That was just stupid me being a brute. I was trying to set the paint can thing, and I just did it with a big hammer, and it crinkled it. I wasn't paying attention. I was just like kind of dink, 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 and then I looked at it and I crinkled it all up. So, all right, I think we're ready to go for a weld.
All right.
So, all right, you ready?
Yep.
You got
ready.
camera number 2?
Uh-huh. Yamas, the mustache.
Thank you, Yamez. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Now that is a very light weld, if there ever was one. We'll get it put back in the fire. We'll bring it back up to heat. So that was at the bottom end of the welding range. So the flux was flowing. The material surface was just starting to kind of flow a little bit. And so that's at the low end of the welding range. We need to bring it up a bit hotter. We need to get it up to that nice lemon yellow.
Tim O'Connor says, just finally got my first Achio, better than my old ASO.
Cool. Yeah, they're really nice for what they are. They're a great stepping stone to something better. That's what I like to call them. You know, they're great because they have a lot of features, they have a lot of surfaces that work out really well, the edges and stuff, with the horn being tapered, the square horn. They're a nice pleasant shape. They look like a semi-professional anvil, so they mimic that really well. So there's a lot of value there. They're hard, or they're hard enough for use. And you know, so yeah, there's a ton of value in them little Achio anvils, or I guess they call them Achios. But congratulations on getting yours. So, excuse me. If you don't have anything else,
I have a super chat.
you have a super chat. Let's hear that.
Tales from the Zoid Forge sent $10 and said, hi, beginner here, smithing since August. I tried my first sand mai last week. One side welded, but the other didn't. How many heats do you usually take for forge welding larger surface area pieces?
Well, thank you for the super chat. Congratulations on getting started in the craft. For larger surface area pieces, you need to work from one edge and work to the other end. You can choose how you like to do that. Usually, you just start incrementally welding from the end furthest away from you and just keep welding and progressing back towards yourself. Generally speaking, that's usually how you're going to weld something that has a larger, broader surface area. When it comes to how many heats, that's going to depend on how big the piece is. And you may run into a situation that your piece is too wide for, say, like your hammer face, and you're getting into a situation where you can't push all the material down in that section in a hammer blow, and so therefore it kind of creates a ripple effect where it'll leave pockets in the piece as you go along. Places that welded, places that didn't, and then those places that didn't oxidize, they scale up, and then they're very incredibly difficult to actually get welded after that point. So I would say generally on average on a fairly large chunk of material or a wide material, however many widths of your hammer face it is across that material, that's how many welding heats you're going to need, basically. Because you have got to cover all surfaces of that surface area with the hammer blows. You can't just hit it in one spot and hope the rest of it will come together. You have got to make sure that you're ironing out all surfaces to the same plane and getting those welded. So it's best if you do it in small incremental welding passes as you go along the whole piece, especially if you're welding by hand.
And Robert Lanis, thank you for the $10 super chat just to help shipping. That's Swage to the lucky winner.
Thank you, Robert. Greatly appreciate that. And it will be it will definitely be greatly appreciated. So thank you so much for that super chat. That goes a long ways towards providing these Swage blocks and all these, you know, giveaway items, all the door prizes. Thank you so much for that.
Don Maddox says, I enjoy watching your channel and have certainly learned from listening and watching you work. Always look forward to new videos.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad that you found that those have been helpful. All right, let's give away a couple things while this comes up to its final welding heat here.
Let's do that.
I'll do that. We'll be coming after it here soon. So many of you know that we do plasma cut blanks. You can find those over at our website, blacksmithpdfs.com. And we do those for blacksmiths and that want to get into projects, all sorts of good projects, things like that. So definitely go check those out if you're interested. And here of lately, it's just been easy. Call me lazy. I haven't made up any tooling for blacksmiths in a while. I do need to. I've just been so extremely busy. I haven't gotten around to it. So it's a lot easier to just give blanks away, or it has been in the last several streams. So that's what we're going to do again this stream, but we're amping it up a little bit. So I'm going to give away a daisy blank. So if you want to go to camera number 2, Jess.
All right.
We're going to be giving away a daisy blank, and we're going to be giving away to another person a pack of 10 heart hook blanks. So we'll be giving those away.
And these you can be worldwide.
What's that?
Yes, they can be in Sweden or anywhere else.
Yep, and these go worldwide. Anywhere you are in the world, we'll ship them to you, free of charge. So let's start with the daisy blank, Jess. The way this works, and again, there's 2 of them here. There's 2. It's a 2-part thing for the daisy. The way this works is when I stop ringing the anvil and I come to a stop, Jessica's going to pull one random name from the comment section. So be sure to be commenting now, and we're going to do this one real quick, and we may have to come back to do the other one, okay?
All right.
All right, we ready?
Yes, we are.
Everybody commenting?
They are.
Steady?
Yeah.
Go. Who do we have?
Let's see. We have Titus Blacksmith Forge with blanks.
Hey, Titus Blacksmith Forge, you are the winner of the daisy blanks. Get with us through the contact email in the description, and we will get that shipped out to you.
All right. 10 to the fire.
All right, I believe this is up to a better welding heat now, so.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and do this one real quick, okay?
Okay.
So now we're going to do the heart. Now we're going to do the heart blank pack of 10 here, heart hook.
All right.
Will be really nice. We ready?
Yes, ready.
Let's draw. Who do we have?
Trevor Partial with the blanks are nice.
Hey, Trevor Partial, congratulations. You won yourself the 10 heart hook blanks. Get with us through the contact email in the description, and we'll get those shipped out to you. All right, go to camera 2.
All right.
You good?
Yep, good.
All right, bring it out. Oh
no, it dropped.
Lost it.
The weld did not hold.
Did not hold. Well, that happens. Hate that it happens to me. All right, let's see here. Yeah, it's just a big bummer that that's not gonna, that stuck. Welds didn't hold on that one. That first one must not have been good enough of a welding heat for sure.
So is this one of those where we need to set it aside and you can do the barbs and come back to this on another live stream? That way you can do it properly?
Yeah, I'll probably do the barbs on it. And then, so I'll set the wrought iron part apart and get that brushed up there. And what we'll do is we'll prick up barbs on this thing, and it's going to make me do it the hard way. It's just going to make me do it the hard way. So that's fine. That's what live streaming's all about. So we'll take that piece and we'll prick barbs up on it over in the vise. Set that down. I'm going to keep this thing kind of cleaned down here real quick. Because I don't want a big, heavy, crusty layer of oxidization to build up on the surface. So we want to keep that brushed down while it cools down a little bit.
Wayne Morey says, you're too strong, Roy. You broke even the tack welds.
Yeah. Which makes me sad because now those tack welds, I'm going to have to chisel those things to get them out the way I like them. So they're like, oh, you tack welded together. Like, no, it made me cut barbs after all. All right, we'll set that out of the way.
Patrick Gill says, did it fall apart because the tack welds burnt off?
What's that?
Did it, excuse me, did it fall apart because the tack welds burnt off?
Yeah, it probably did. It probably was not fully welded. Or there, you know, again, it was a super light welding heat that I brought it out at, so it might not even welded at all. It might have just been a barely a tack, a very superficial tack, and then when I was hitting on it, the little tack welds that I had on it, because I didn't want them to be these big heavy tacks on there, they probably just broke loose. So most likely that's what's happened. That's okay. We'll get this going with I'll show you guys how we're going to prick up barbs now. We're going to take it that way.
Good. I look forward to that.
One of the nice things about pricking up barbs versus doing it with the tack welds is the barbs really bite into the wrought iron. So they give you an extra layer of holding capacity, if you will, because it's kind of like driving a nail into wood, if you will. So that's really nice to have happen there.
Thank you, Scott Mills, for the $5 super chat. He says if he wins some cool tools, he's going to donate them to the Jesse Jones Park Volunteers Blacksmith Shop.
Very cool.
And also thank you, Michael Davis, for the $5 super chat. He says also throw some money towards the shipping for the Swage.
Thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciated. All right. Well, while we're at it, and to make Roy feel better, now that he's tucking his tail between his legs and licking his wounds on such a very sad occurrence as a weld not taking the first go around, which again, just not surprised. There's a lot going on with one of those welds. You think it'd be easy, but it's not. Oftentimes it is not an easy thing. Oh. All right, cool. Check that thing out. So let's give away some more things. How's that sound?
Yes, let's do
sound good?
that.
All right, we're gonna give away another daisy pack here. Give away another daisy blank set. Go to camera number 2.
Yes.
We'll give away one of these. So all you gotta do is comment in the comment section down below for your chance to win.
That's right.
And we'll draw a name at random. I can't hold that thing. It's impossible to hold the thing perfect.
It together. Yeah.
There we go. That's what she'll end up looking like. Boom. All right, we ready?
Yes.
Who do we have?
We have Dan's Creations and Adventures says, I want to make daisies.
Hey, well, you're going to get to make those daisies there, Dan. Congratulations. And who was it again?
Dan's Creations and Adventures.
Dan's Creations and Adventures. Congratulations, you won a daisy blank set. Get with us through the contact email in the description. in the description.
Thank you also, Red Bears Forge, for ye old shipping cost, $5.
I love it. Thank you.
It's like everybody should break out in Old English right now. That'd be great.
The ye old blacksmith here is sure am happy to have your ye old money. Oh no. All right, can we see it in camera too here?
Yes.
All right, so count it, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5. We're gonna give away 5 of these, a little 5-pack set of these anvil keychains. Now these were newly listed on our site.
Yep.
Of these little anvil keychain type items. Jessica drew those up.
Yep, sure did.
Which we're going to use them as like just items where we can just stamp my logo and stuff into these.
They're really
and
great for that.
you know, give them out, things like that. They're going to be really great, but they're really economical over on the website. And so, but we're going to give away 5 of them to one lucky person. And it's going to be right after the hammer gets done ring-a-ling-a-linging on the anvil. Ready?
Yes.
Set? Go. Who do we have?
We have metal blueberries with anvils.
Hey, hey, metal blueberries. Congratulations. You won some anvils. Little anvil keychains.
Yes, I have used those for some necklace pendants. I took them to BAM, and I'm going to have some more at Quad State. But yeah, I did some copper ones too.
Yes, Jessica is very talented like that.
Yeah, no, those really are the perfect size for putting your touch mark on them. It'd be a really nice piece that way. Thank you, Neil Crocker. Says they did a nice job. Yeah, I think I used practically the same anvil shape that Roy did up for his BAM sign, but the tail's a bit longer, so. It's a baby anvil.
It's a little broad.
Scott Mills, tiny anvils for forging toothpicks.
Say that again.
He said you could forge toothpicks on a tiny anvil like that.
Oh, yeah. Certainly could.
Don Maddox, yeah, you can comment multiple times.
Yep. Comment as many times as you like.
Iron B, we are forging, Roy is forging a wrought iron hammer. Or that was, if he's continuing that.
Yeah, I'm continuing that
Okay.
for right now. So I'm going to prick up the barbs on it. I don't know if we'll get it welded tonight, so we've lost a lot of time now.
Yeah, we're at 6:06.
How late are we?
6:06?
Yeah, we won't get it forge welded on tonight, so you guys will just have to picture it all forge welded together in your head.
Imagine it, or come back for another live stream.
Or come back for another live stream, yeah. There we go. Oh, so sad. So sad. Big unhappy face from Roy. So this brings up a great, kind of great teaching moment for you smiths that are just getting started out there. Although this is an irritation on my end, yeah, I'm holding it together. I'm screaming on the inside a little bit. But although this is a minor irritation, all joking aside, it's a minor irritation that a weld doesn't go right, right? It's very minor. And the reason why it's very minor for me is because I understand that that's just part of this whole thing called blacksmithing, right? There are going to be times welds stick, welds don't stick. There are going to be dirty fires and clean fires. There's going to be clinker and then non-clinker. And there's going to be, again, there's going to be stress and non-stress moments. There's going to be times that you feel creative, times you don't. There'll be times that you just ruin everything that you touch. And then there's going to be times that you feel like you are unstoppable, right? And you can build anything. And that is just all part of this craft. And it's what I love about it so much. So if you're really struggling with a process that you're working on, don't get discouraged and throw your hands up in disgust and say, I'm no good at this and I'll never get good and blah, 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 blah. All the self-loathing that you want in the world. won't help a thing. It really won't. It's part of the process. You are on a journey with this blacksmithing thing, and it's going to take time. And even when you think that you are just good and you have arrived as a smith and you are floating on a cloud and everyone's bowing down before you, you're gonna end up having things like this. It's still going to happen to you. Just still going to happen to you. So there's no point in crying over spilt milk. There's no point in dwelling on it. I've met some blacksmiths out there that if they couldn't get something to work, they would yell some sort of obscenity and throw stuff across the room and storm off and just have a flat out temper tantrum because they couldn't get a simple process down pat. And at the end of it all, it didn't help them any. That they still couldn't do it even after they let out all their frustration and rage, right? It still didn't help them any. So again, it's just part of that process of, learning. And there's going to be times that, you feel like you should know this or that you've done it a million times, and that just happens to be when you're demonstrating in front of a bunch of people, it doesn't work, right? Or you're at a class and you're teaching a class and you've got students looking up to you as you're supposed to know something, and then something doesn't work. Something doesn't work. For whatever reason, you're in a different forge. You have sunlight in your eyes. A whole host of reasons of why something didn't quite transpire the way you were hoping it would. But it is the mark, and it is the mark of a true master on how they overcome those things, right? Can you pivot? You're going to do forge welding in this project. Can you pivot and do rivets instead? How about brazing? Can you do brazing? Can you overcome those obstacles? Or are you skilled enough or experienced enough to understand what's going on to be able to pivot and say, oh, okay, I've got too much air. I need to back off the air blast. I need to increase the amount of, coal I've got on my forge, blah, 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 blah. Can you do that? And that's kind of the mark of a true craftsman and someone who knows what they're doing versus when you're just getting started. So when you're just getting started, don't get discouraged just because something didn't work out the first time. All of us professional smiths out there, master smiths out there, they all have that same problem from time to time, right? Missed hammer blows, dings in the anvil, chips out the side of the anvil sometimes, right? A broken hammer handle, who knows, right? We all have those moments in time. So don't pay no never mind to it when it happens to you. Just get back on that horse and ride again.
Rob Huff says they throw something, then they have to go fix that and everything it hit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I can't explain to you how many times I've been and literally, I don't know if they thought they were being a cool kid or what, but like slamming their hammer, throwing it at concrete, their hand hammer. Like, what does that do other than damage the floor of someone's shop, right? That didn't fix your inadequacies, right? As a smith at that moment in time, that didn't fix anything. So again, don't get worked up. It's just steel. They make more of it.
I like everyone's wise sayings in the comments. One of them is Jordan Inkblom. Says the difference between a master and an apprentice is the master has failed more times than the apprentice has even tried.
That should probably be addendum to a master continues to fail more times than an apprentice has ever tried. Because you're going to keep on failing again and again and again and again.
Patrick Gill says humility goes a long way. We're not the masters of metal, but its custodian.
I like that.
Brittingham Forge, a time to burn and a time to learn.
I like that.
Tinker at Forge, no sense in crying over spilled 1045.
Exactly. No sense in crying over spilt 1045. Exactly. All right, we'll prep this camera here real quick. You can keep reading comments.
All right. Brittingham Forge also said a time to weld and a time to prick up burrs.
And this is definitely one of them times to prick up burrs.
Patrick Gill says, I'm glad you're bringing this up. Kohlberg Forge says,
good.
just have to keep hammering away.
Yep.
Redbeard's Forge, today's lesson, not everything goes as planned and it's okay.
Yep.
Trail Dust 55, it makes you appreciate when things go well.
Yep. Yeah, if anything, all my years as a professional so far has taught me. It's exactly that, right? It's you just don't sweat it, right? You can't. You have a full day worth of work. If something breaks or something doesn't go right, you just start again. You don't get paid to throw a temper tantrum in your shop. You sure as heck don't get paid anymore when you break tools in your shop because of your own anger or whatever, or frustrations. You don't get paid to sit on your hunches, right? And say, well, I guess I won't do that job now because this one thing didn't work out or because something's difficult or complex. You don't get paid to do that. So, you have got to problem solve and you've got to work through it regardless of whether you want to or not. When you do it as a hobby, there's nothing over you. There's no overhead. There's no rent at the end of the month. There's no, you know what I mean? There's no wife and kids relying on you, for your provision from the hearth, right? And so, therefore, you can throw a temper tantrum and go off and leave the trade for 2-3 months and, well, I guess I'll come back to it, right? That you can do that, but you can't do that whenever you're doing it for a profession. And so I'm glad I do it as a profession. I've done it for a profession for so long because it does help smooth out those lumps and bumps. And boy, I tell you what, it was really rocky up front, not gonna lie, because there's been plenty of times where what was in my head worked out beautiful and what I produced did not look like what was in my head, right? And just get super discouraged about that. But again, I had an older mentor friend of mine, Raymond Sim, and he was an old blacksmith, and I was really petrified about, ruining a piece that I was working on. And he's like, meh, it's just steel. They make more. I'm like, how can you say that? I got all this. He's like, it's just steel. They make more. Like the amount of time you spent worrying and fussing over this thing, you could have had it done already. And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess you're right. And so, and he was the type he liked to chew. So, after he'd make a wise saying, he'd chomp down on his dip there and spit. After he told you like it is. And this is great stuff. I miss that man. A great guy.
Boxy says, he has a question. Would it be smart to start with making a mild steel hammer as a first hammer?
Yeah, if you just want to practice getting the eye in there and stuff like that, why not? I mean, it's a softer material to work with, and you can use it as a hammer to drive drifts and chisels. You can go camera number 2. Mm-hmm. That there's a mild steel hammer. Nothing special. Just put a hole through a big chunk of mild to turn into a hammer that I can use to drive hardened tools with, so I don't have to dent up my hand forging hammer. Mm-hmm. And while we're there, we're going to go ahead and start chiseling up some of these parts here. All right, we're going to get it locked in the vise here. Nice and tight if we can. Let's see how I can come at. These are kind of difficult to do from the edges here. Let's see if I can come in. We're going to start roughly in the center. And we're going to go out to the corner. I'm going to do this likewise the other side. That shaved off a bit more than I was anticipating. All right, we'll need to get it hot one more time. Hopefully they can see that, how I'm pricking up these burrs here. I will have to do a little bit of adjusting on them to get them stood up right. I basically just lost that one because I came up out of my cut right here on this end. That one's going to get lost. This one was good. This one's starting to be good. I just need to make sure I be real careful with the next one. So we'll get that hot. And we're putting those little burrs up in the fire. We're not putting them down. We don't want to roast them off.
Black Collar Ironworks sends a $5 super chat. He says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mini anvils. Ah, 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 ah. I totally did that wrong. I totally did it wrong. I was trying to think of the right voice, the Dracula voice.
1, ah, ah, ah.
There you go.
2, ah, ah, ah. 3, ah, ah, ah.
Learn Lost Skills says, hey Roy, enjoying your show because it means I closed the shop early today.
Hey, cool. Well, enjoy relaxing and watching the show. Great to have you.
Brent Daughtery, does it get hot in the shop?
It does. It's a little too spicy right now for this sweater, but I'm not going to get naked in front of camera, so we're going to survive it. One way or the other. So. All right, let's give some more stuff away, Jess.
All right, sure.
I'm going to go to the vise real quick just to show off.
Okay.
We're going to be giving away the mini anvils. We're going to do another set of 5 for the little keychains. And then we're also going to be giving away this Kiridashi that was provided to us by Wiley Rook Blade Works. We'll be giving that away. There's only one stipulation there. You have to be 18 years of age or older to win this, or you have got to have a parent and legal guardian show us proof of identity that they are your parent and legal guardian and they approve of this message, that you can have such things in your possession. We claim no responsibility.
That's
okay?
right.
These are wicked sharp, so just abide by those rules. This will go internationally. We'll ship it anywhere in the world to you. Just like so. Thank you, Wiley, for that. Also, it's got these little copper spacers in here and some nice file work down the spine.
It does look real
So we'll
good.
be giving those away right here shortly. So let me make sure this thing's not burning up here
All right.
in the bottom of the bay. Bring it up a little bit. All right. It's not burning up, so that's good. All right, back to the main cam.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna give away the keychains first.
All right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and start tapping. And when I stop, we're gonna pick one random name from the commoners. Who do we have?
Let's see. We have Stephen Watkins, mini anvils.
Stephen Watkins, congratulations, sir. Glad you won the mini anvils. Get with us with your contact information through the contact link in the description. Now for the fun one,
Kiridashi.
the coveted, the prize to beat all prizes, the Kiridashi. I better stop pulling this thing out. I'm going to slice something off. I just know it.
Better watch
It's
out.
fun to pull out of the Kydex sheath, though. It is. It really is. Has a nice feel to it. Great job. Great job, Wiley Rook. So, all right, we ready?
Yep.
Are they all commenting
They are.
sufficiently?
They are. It's gone pretty quickly.
All right. Who do we have?
All right. I am looking for the first one that says Kiridashi. Where do we have? I have a lot of little anvil ones mixed in.
Shall I draw it again?
Yeah, go ahead. Roll one more time.
All right, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. Pull one name at random.
Metalworks says Kiridashi.
Metalworks.
Yes, Metalworks.
Congratulations, Metalworks. You won the Kiridashi there, made by Wiley Rook Blade Works. Congratulations. Get with us through the contact link in the description. Descriptions. All right, back to camera number 2, please.
All right.
My dear. Back to camera 2. Ugh. Probably the hardest part of this is getting it locked in the vise in such a way that you can work this angle on it. Takes a lot to get that kind of peeled up there. All right. When you're doing this, you always want to be driving into the block of material. So you're going along the edge, but you're also driving into the block of the material. If you do like I did here, I was just going along the edge and it peeled out. It ended up peeling out on this corner, which isn't great, okay? So in order to get them barbs stood up nicely, that'll affect the looks a little bit on that, but it's kind of traditional. It's what would happen regularly. So as long as you're going into the block of material and you keep the block of material hot, you can keep peeling up this with relative ease and work it right up to your corners. Now, when I did my original hammer with Tom Latney, he had an additional step he would do. And that additional step, he would come back in with a butcher tool and push these extra up and get them all straightened up. I don't have that butcher tool, so what I'm going to do, well, I do have a butcher tool, but I'm going to go dig it out right now. I am going to stand up this barb right here, get it more straightened up, and then I'm also going to forge on these barbs a little bit just to pull them out, make them sharper in this direction, you know, and get them all aligned. So that should work out okay. And if 4 barbs isn't enough, you have to go to the other edges and prick you up a few more.
Dan's Creation and Adventures says, I'm almost done I'm almost done building my very first forge. We'll be using charcoal to start it with. I'm used to using an acetylene torch. What should I expect upon the first use?
Is he using charcoal?
Charcoal, uh-huh.
All right. Something to expect on the first use of a charcoal forge. Hopefully we're on camera 1.
Yes.
Okay. The thing you can expect on your first use of a charcoal forge is a lot of fire fleas. They are little sparks and cinders that are going to come up at you just by nature of the beast. It's just going to happen. Not really anything you can do about it, but it can be kind of shocking when you're working with the fire for the first time. One way of mitigating that is to put a little bit of water to dampen some of your charcoal down, so don't let it all just be a blaze and popping cinders all over the place with air. One of the other things is charcoal forges require very little air, actually. They require, well, hardly none at all, airflow. So you need to have a little bit of airflow, but not a bunch. And the reason why is because that air, the charcoal, is really lightweight, and so it has a tendency to blow up out the bottom of the fire pot. So really gentle on your air blast to put in the heat. The other thing I would say, the other hint about charcoal is not going to get near as hot. Your forging temperatures aren't going to be near as hot as what you see coal or blacksmith's coke. You're not going to see nearly that hot of temperatures. And so you're going to be forging a lot cooler temperatures, so that means you're going to take more heats because of that. That's what you can expect. Hopefully that's helpful to you. That's good.
NBS says, how big of a hammer is it going to be?
In total, it's going to be a 2-pound finish weight hammer. So it's going to be a total of 2 pounds on the head.
Solomon Matisoff says, do you buy or make hot chisels?
I basically make all my tooling now. I make everything we need in-house except for equipment like the fly press or something like that. Obviously, I don't make those, but scroll jigs, bending things, fixtures, tongs, punches, chisels, you name it, I make it basically in-house if I can. Unless it's super specialized, like a powered hand tool of some sort.
Michael Hayes says, thanks Roy and Jessica for your amazingness.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your amazing viewership.
G-Dog, Jessica, I feel you need to be doing sign language. 'Cause I'm in a little box.
Oh, yeah? She'd probably be good at it. If she put her mind to it, she'd be good at it. All right, let's go to the anvil.
All right.
We're going to drive out these points here.
And somebody asked what purpose do the barbs serve?
The barbs bite into the wrought iron. So you're using the barbs to bite in to the wrought iron. See if I can hold this thing even at all. So we're just getting those stood straight up so they can bite into the billet. I've got a little piece there I need to work on. Getting stood up here. Little curly cue. We'll have to get that hot one more time to get it stood up there all the way. But yeah, so basically they act as teeth. So when you bring out the wrought iron billet, let me grab a different pair of tongs here. When you bring out the wrought iron billet, you let this cool down to like a dull color, dull red. You bring this out really hot and you drive it right down onto them barbs. And they hold the orientation in the hammer. So it's kind of like nailing the wrought iron. The wrought iron is soft and it's got a grain structure, fibrous, like wood. And so when you drive those cold hardened teeth into the wrought iron face, it bites in and it grabs it. And it's a way of doing it without having tack welds from a modern welder. This is a very common technique and things you will see on a lot of historical hammers and tooling out there. You'll see teeth cut in on certain pieces of iron out there. So there you go. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. See the barbs?
Yes.
So I still got to work on the other 2 of these to get them upright and where I need them. We'll work on those a little bit at a time here.
Heath French asked what your favorite thing to make the shop is.
Favorite thing to make in the shop? Scroll work. I love scroll work, all types. I'm going to be real general just because I have to be. Scroll work is a really broad field. There's a tons of different types of scrolls out there, tons of different types of methodologies to them. Yeah, I like making scrolls in the shop. I think it's very definitive of what a blacksmith is and what a blacksmith does, which is manipulate metal to their whims. So I really do enjoy scroll work in the shop. Beyond that, just making shop-made tooling for different projects I've got. I do enjoy that as well. Let me go to the anvil.
Yes.
All right, got that stood up. Got to get this next one hot. A really lame one. We're going to get it nice and hot. If these aren't sharp, if these barbs aren't really sharp, you'll have a little bit of trouble. It won't want to dig. So you do want the barbs to be somewhat sharp, kind of like a nail. You want them to be fairly sharp. So it pays to forge these out a little bit and just make them good and sharp on the ends. It just helps them out. Can they see that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I've got 3 going really good there. I got this 4th one here to stand up. We're starting with a really thick chunk of material, so we've got plenty of room. We've got plenty of latitude here that if something were to mess up on this, we could let it cool. We could grind off the bad end, the end that didn't work out, or make that our face that we're going to end up dressing at a later date. Back to main cam.
Yes.
If the barbs didn't work out, you laid them flat, they really were garbage, they didn't work out really well, you could always say if you don't make that weld happen, when the say if the barbs dropped it somehow, I don't know, whatever, something happened, life happened, Murphy'd happened when it came to it. You can just flip that, make that the top side or the face, what'll be the hammer face, because you're going to clean that off anyhow. You're going to grind it, file it, radius it, right, for forge work. So you just turn that out and cut barbs on the other side. After you've done that, well, then you're getting into grinding work, or you know, you're going to have to clean the barbs up, and then you're just going to try to have to do a stack weld, or you know, what they call a faggot weld, or not really a faggot weld. It's a jump weld, is what it is. You know, you're just going to have to try to jump the bar onto each other, which is considerably more difficult to get the faces squared up and takes a little bit of time and monkeying around with 2 pieces. If you can put the barbs on it and the barbs will hold it to your hammer face, to your hammerhead, much, much better. More good or better.
More good or better.
More good or better.
Gordon Farmer had asked a bit earlier if you know if the cheap Amazon gloves are any good to use for blacksmithing. And also the second part of his question was if it's good to overestimate your time on a project. So if you're quoting a customer. So to allow yourself more time than you think you'll need.
Yes. Yes to the second one. Don't know to the first question. So if you can overestimate the time that you need, especially if you're uncomfortable with the project that you're undertaking, like it's something new to you, maybe you've never made one before, then yeah, you go ahead and overestimate the time. If it's something you've made on the regular before and you just want to overestimate the time, just to allow yourself more time to do it, sometimes that can end up losing you that job because somebody wanted it done in 2 weeks. You said normally this takes about 1 to 2 weeks, and then you say, no, it's going to take me 6 months now because I said so, right? And then that may make you lose a job in that way. But in general, if you overestimate whatever you think you can get done in a certain amount of time, if you double that, you'll be safe. Safer, I should say. Unless something crazy happens, then it triples the time on you. But usually if you take whatever you're thinking, oh, that'll only take me about 10 hours, you double it. It's going to take you 20. So as human beings, as smiths, we're fallible in that way. We like to say, oh, that should only take me, I mean, have you seen this? I'm good. Oh yeah, I'm so good. I could get that done in 10 minutes. 9.5 hours later, you finally finished that thing you said you were going to get done in 10 minutes. So So yeah, so if you at least double your time on a job at first, especially when it's new territory that you're getting down into, it'll be more beneficial for you. Let's go to the anvil.
Okay.
Great questions, Gordon. All right, try to curl this up. Man, it just wants to come right off there. That's not even on there. Not really. It's on there by a fuzz. I'm just going to stick it in there like so. And maybe that little fleeker will weld in to the bees. We're gonna call that good. That. Yeah, that thing's coming off. Nope, little fleeker's gone.
Good test for it.
Say what?
Oh, Jamie Gare said, nice new brush.
It is. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. That's Jamie Geyer, everybody. He's the man you need to go talk to if you want to take some really great classes in Goshen, Ohio. He's the guy who runs it. We always have a good time. Well, at least I do. I don't know about anybody else. But for myself, I have a great time usually.
Brent Daughtery asked how you did the markings on the side of your hammer, your forging hammer.
That was done with small chasing chisels and an engraver. Yep. Now for the decision to be made. Do I do it with the 3 or do I prick up a barb from the other side? Questions, questions, questions. I think I'm going to do it with the 3. I'll leave it at that. All right, I'm going to leave that set out. I'm going to get the wrought iron hammer face heated up now.
Brent Daughtery says, can you see in the end product whether someone used a modern welder to tack it or used the traditional way?
When it rusts or ages, yes, you'll be able to see it. If they keep it oiled nicely, things like that, no, you won't really be able to tell. But I'll see it in my dreams.
Rob Huff says, I have an okay time. That's why I keep coming back. I'm waiting for that great to happen. Kidding, obviously. I get mail out there now, LOL. Practically moving in, Rob. Cold Steel's truth. God bless you too.
So he has an okay time.
It's waiting for the great.
Rob says he has a meh. It's a meh. Just meh. Like, how'd you enjoy your time out at Goshen? Meh. I could have done other things that weekend, like mowed the lawn, skinned a cat. You know, a whole bunch of other things. Roy was all right, though, I guess. Just meh.
Wayne Morey says, does more barbs equal more success?
Not always. Sometimes they can interfere and fight you. It just looks a little nicer if you leave any visible weld showing. It's not going to matter in this because you're not going to be able to see it. When I'm done with this hammer, there's not going to be a weld line that you can see. It's going to be highly chased and ornate and bas relief engraved, and so it's going to go high finish. So you're not going to be able to see anywhere where there was a weld line ever. If you're going to have a regular hammer, like I did, you will see small evidences on it if you're just going to have a basic hammer like what I've got, just for forging purposes. You'll see some of that, the tells there. And by the way, you have to have this really nice and hot, like hot. This has got to be hot. You can't just dull red and hammer it on there. It needs to be yellow in temperature when you drive it down onto that hammer face, if you will.
Jay Evans, we have not given away the Swage just yet, and there's still a few more door prizes to be given away as well. And just so you know, honey, we are at 6:43 p.m.
6:43, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Late enough.
Wayne Morey says that's a big thermos of coffee, Roy.
Yeah, real big thermos. Oh, I'd be dying right now if I was drinking coffee too. Woo. When I drink coffee, I've been on a diet from coffee since the first of the year, but when I drink coffee though, like, yeah, I could be out here in a t-shirt in dead of winter just because of how, yeah, it really warms me up inside out. All right. We'll let this thing come up to heat. I'm crunching ice. That's got to be annoying.
Oh.
I didn't think about that.
Crunch.
I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Crunch, crunch, crunch. All right. Let's go ahead with the big ums.
The big ums.
And give away some sticker packs. And also, we will give away our Pentagon bowl blank, also new to the website as well, huh?
That's correct.
So, move this over here. I got to keep watching this because I don't want to end up melting the wrought iron in the fire. Get distracted and all. Giving things away and whatnots. We'll shift that over here. Dude. All right. So, let's start with the sticker pack, shall we?
Yes.
Are we at camera 2?
Yes, we are.
Oh, are we just there now?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, our sticker bundles. We're going to give away some sticker bundles in the live stream here. We're going to just draw rapid fire, pick 4 or 5 names here real quick, and we're going to give away some sticker bundles. It comes with this anvil, which by the way looks really cool on the camera.
It does, yeah.
We're going to give away this anvil sticker. These were all provided to us by Dana Maggiore, by the way, so he's your guy if you wanted to get some stickers made. Christ-Centered Ironworks logo sticker, and the coveted Year of the Swage block sticker, 2021. And that's a little graphic that my daughter, my oldest girl, Abigail, made for me. So isn't she a good doodler? Good at doodling. So you're going to get a pack of 3 of these if you win. So we're going to go ahead and draw some names real quick. We can go back to the main cam.
All right.
All right. And it's just like in times prior. We're going to ring the anvil. When we stop, just going to draw a name at random. We ready?
Correct, yes.
And let's go. Who do we have?
First one is Patrick Breslin.
Patrick Breslin, right?
Breslin.
Breslin? Congratulations, Patrick Breslin. Get with us through the contact email in the description, and we'll get that shipped out to you. By the way, if you're not sure what to comment, follow everybody else's lead, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we do phrases. Some people say, sticker me please, right? Stuff like that. Follow everyone else's lead. We're not discriminative against comments here. So, I mean, unless you're like calling me everything but a good guy here, then we probably aren't going to pick you. Let's just be honest. Or we might pick you just out of spite. That way we can have your address. Oh, yeah.
That would be funny.
That's what I need to do. I need to start giving all my trolls free stuff.
Yeah.
When they come and they troll me, and that way I can have their addresses.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
That way I can be like, I know where you live. All right, we ready?
Tackle.
Set, go. Who do we have?
We have Kyle Jones, sticker me please.
Kyle Jones, congratulations. Sticker you will. Contact email in the description, sir. Ready?
Yep.
Who do we have?
We have Sword Silk Screen with sticky.
Sword silk screen?
That's
It
correct.
is very sticky. You stick these on something, they don't come back off. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's do one more.
All right.
Who do we have?
We have a TRBL Warrior Sweet Stickers.
Sweet stickers. TRBL Warrior
Yeah, I think it's short for Tribal Warrior.
or Trouble
Or yeah. could be.
Troubled Warrior, huh?
Yeah.
Or Tribal Warrior. Well, congratulations. However you spell your acronym. You won the stickers. Get down with us in the comment down, contact link, description. Do that.
That thing.
That thing, the contact email. Do the stuff. Let's do one more sticker pack, shall we?
Sure.
All right, ready, set, go. Who we have?
Dale Chewelski? Yeah, Dale Chewelski with stickers.
Dale Chewelski, congratulations. You've got some stickers coming your way. All you gotta do is get through the contact email in the description. We'll get those shipped out to you. And now for the taste de la restaurants. However, I totally messed that up. Totally butchered it, but that's all right. Go to camera number 2.
All right, and it's covered in plastic wrap if you're curious.
Yes, it's covered in plastic wrap because it's soft. It's like
That got a little
ASMR.
strange,
All
but
right.
okay.
Anyways, so these are our Pentagon blanks that we sell over our website. I decided it was a neat shape. I wanted to make it and have cut. We didn't get to any of these in the bowl class, but if you want to take and make one of these up for yourself, we do offer these over at our website, blacksmithpdfs.com. Be sure to check that out. So this is a 6-inch bowl blank, and you can do with it as you like if you win. So we're going to go ahead and draw for that now. We ready?
All right. Yes, we are.
All right. Should I give them enough time? Give them a
Oh,
bit
there-
more?
I-
Let
I
me
gave them a
adjust the
heads
hammer.
up. Yeah, I was gonna say I gave them a heads up when we were doing the stickers.
Okay, let me
they
adjust the
know.
hammer.
Those who have been astute know what's going on.
Those who have been astute knows that
know.
they're in the know.
They are in the know.
They're in the know. All right, ready, set, go.
That's a very dropping stuff.
Who is it?
We landed on Jason Webb with Pentagon.
Jason Webb.
That is correct.
Congratulations, Jason Webb. You won one of those bowl blanks there, brother. Get with us through the contact email in the description. All right. Woo-doo-doo. Get this set up to where it looks good on camera for all those folks that care about such things. This is really nice and hot. Again, bright yellow is what you're looking for when you drive it down on there. I am going to take a second to brush the face since it's been turned down inside the fire. It's been turned down in the fire facing straight down, so it does get more oxygen on it than what it would normally. So I will pull it out, give it a real quick brush, and then I will start trying to set it on there and getting it to bite. You really only get, you get a few tries at this, and then you're going to have to rotate it because it takes multiple bites. So you really want to get it on there and get a good whack on it. Get a good solid whack and get it to bite in good. You don't want to kind of bounce and bounce and bounce around with the hammer. You want to get like a good bam, just like as if you're trying to drive a nail into a chunk of wood. Are we ready?
Yes, we
You
are.
got the anvil?
Yep.
All right, go to the anvil cam. I'll bring this out. Brush the face briefly. Then I'm going to find which way this works best. There we go. So that face is bit on there now. Nice and tight. One more. We don't want to spend too much time fidgeting with this. Just want to brush that joint up just a bit. And now we can put it back in the fire. And hopefully, we can bring this up to a welding heat without that falling off. That's ideal.
Keith French says, Roy, the flux. You're using the flux. S. Bain, your method for teaching is very descriptive.
Say what?
Your method for teaching is very descriptive.
Mine?
Uh-huh.
Well, thank you. Let's get that clinker out of the bottom. That'd be helpful.
Ooh, that was a big one. Overboard.
Hopefully there wasn't any anything flammable over there.
No, just lots of clinkers.
Just a lot of clinker. Eventually I'll have to rake out all my clinkers over there. Out of the way.
It's really mending in with the gravel.
What's that?
Mending in with the gravel. Denny Judson says, Jessica is always a step ahead of you with the camera, Roy.
She is. She is. Always a step ahead.
It's easier now that we have the ATM Mini Pro. It's like just buttons. It's just camera 1, camera 2.
Good. Sometimes she's slacking.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes she gets the slacking, and I'm like,
laughing in the comments and
I'm
stuff
like
that.
you're busy staring at my derriere or something because she didn't get it there in time. Oh, but that's okay.
Martin Brule. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna make a joke. Go ahead.
Okay. Martin Brule Jr. says, "See, Roy, I'll bet you'll get it welded tonight."
Doubtful, but hopeful. Let's see. Oh, I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm not getting my hopes up. We will see. We will see. See if we can get this welded up here. All right, this here, I need to change. Darken that thing right up. Otherwise, people won't be able to see anything at all. Now with this, you don't have two attached pieces yet, so you do have to move them around in the fire quite gingerly, very carefully. And I might not, you know, by the time that gets up to welding heat, it might not be worth it. Continue. Might take another 25 minutes or so. Get that up to welding heat.
G-Dog says, "May the flux be with you, Roy."
G-Dog?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. May it be with all of you in moderation and only when needed. Only when needed.
Like sprinkles on a cupcake.
Huh?
Like sprinkles on a cupcake.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the icing.
Only in moderation. Only.
Toomfy Floyd says, "How long have you been blacksmithing, Mr. Roy?"
Oh, I've been blacksmithing for 14 years coming up on. Ten of those have been professional. As my full-time occupation.
Someone asked earlier how much coal you go through on the daily, and S. Bain says, "Where do you get your coal? Is it by Mutimus?"
The coal I'm using, it's actually coke. I'm not using regular blacksmith coal right now. I'm using metallurgical grade coke. I get it from, I believe, what, Pie Tool Co.
Yep,
is where we've been buying it from, and it gets shipped in, and it costs $1,000 a ton, basically.
Yep.
$1,000 a ton shipped to our address. So when, see here, I go through with this, I've been going through about a ton a year, 1 ton a year of coke. Now, granted, before I moved up here with doing regular coal, I was going through 2 tons of coal a year. So lots of coal, lots of coal, lots of coke. I usually go through. Now, since we moved up here, I've taken a little bit of a different approach to the business, so it's not as much production work, things like that, and so I've been able to back off a little bit and, you know, be more metering with the coal in the coke since moving up here. Principally being because it might take 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks for the carrier to actually get the coke to me. So I don't want to just be burning up needless coal or coke on projects. And I supplement off with gas too, propane as well, you know, which I've got both. So in a shop that has both, a ton of coke would probably last a normal person's shop probably 2 years or so, with normal forging habits and things like that. You'll go through more if you're heating bigger material. If you're doing hammers all the time, you're going to go through a lot more material than a guy who's doing, you know, doing scroll work. You're going to go through a lot more coke doing hammers, trying to get that mass hot.
Jordan Viken says, are you a first-generation blacksmith?
Yep, first generation as far as I know. The closest thing I come to a blacksmith in my family tree was my grandpa. He was a coal miner, and that's about it. But he wasn't a blacksmith, he was a coal miner from Kentucky.
Neil Crocker says, thank you, Jessica, for buying Roy the anvil. He's pretty happy about it. I sent him out there to go buy the fly press too, so.
She did. She did. She sent me out there. She wanted everybody to know that she sent me out to get this fly press.
Is after the live stream where Roy was saying, oh, I'm coming up on my 10-year business forging anniversary. And everybody's like, what are you going to get him, Jess? And I'm like, I don't know. And then so Thomas, when he had saw Roy got the new fly press, he's like, you have to tell him that's what Roy got for his forging anniversary. So, yep.
What a great gift. What a great gift. She really does spoil me, gentlemen. She really does spoil me.
Victoria Amane, yep, the giant water bottle is filled with water. It will hold ice cold water for like 18 hours. Well, no, it's over that. It's like over 24 hours that'll hold ice water. Works out pretty good.
Yeah, it works out really great.
Let's see, Jason Webb, do I need the Swage block to make my Pentagon bowl?
Does he need the Swage block?
Mm-hmm. No, you can make a Swage tool that goes in a vise or...
Cupping tool. Cupping tools.
Yep,
that's what you need.
On that on the channel.
Go to camera number 2.
Okay.
Right there. Just a piece of pipe with the edge rolled out on it and a bar welded across the bottom to lock it in either your anvil there. You can make it to where it locks in the anvil, or you can make it where it locks in the vise and then form it right over that. So I've got full tutorials on that on the channel.
Renee says, how do you store that much coal?
Vertically.
Yeah, in bags on a pallet.
No, it's all in sacks, like 50-pound sacks, and it's all on a pallet. I've got it on a pallet inside the shop here, and all covered and kept clean. So, yep, that's how you store it, or that's how I store it.
Eric says she sent you to get the fly press because she wants to use it for texturing. That's just a benefit, but
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
I'm definitely gonna be using it for some things here and there. The benefits. Rock 7898, what's the temperature where we are? About 40 degrees Fahrenheit, northern Michigan.
Yep. Oh, I look forward to doing some streams where we might use this for a whole project, you know, showcase the fly press off a little bit. Today was the first time I ever put hot material underneath the fly press at all, and used it. And I was quite surprised, really surprised with how much squish it really does have. Even though it's only supposed to be like a 6-ton press, it really does squeeze material quite well. I forged a 5/8 inch round tenon on some 1-inch round bar, and it took maybe 3 heats to do so. And that's like a 2-inch long tenon. So that was like, yeah, pretty impressive for that. And that's with kind of just janky tools and setup. That's not even something specifically set up to forge tenons on it. So if I set up a die specifically for forging tenons, I mean, that's just great. Just great. Altogether great.
See, Dana says, what size was the pipe for the cupping tool?
What size is the pipe for the cupping tool?
Mm-hmm.
3-inch usually works best. You can get by with 2 though, but you do have to use a smaller hammer, a much smaller hammer, like a ball peen with the face redressed on it, to just be round. So, but yeah, 3-inch pipe works really nice for a cupping tool. You can make them smaller for smaller pieces, and you make it larger pipe for larger pieces for cupping tools. It all depends on the type of radius you're looking for. The further the edges of the cupping tool are away from the center where you're hitting, the more gradual your slope's going to be. The closer they are, the tighter your slopes are going to be. And so it's going to go more vertical quickly across a small piece.
Brian, Daniel, Michael, thank you for the comments on the baking steel video. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that.
Awesome. How many people we have with us, Jess?
We have, waiting for it to update, 152.
Huh?
152.
152 people. Mm-hmm. That is awesome.
Tim O'Connor, we are located here on the Love of Michigan.
Up higher.
Up higher.
Higher.
Up here.
Top knuckle. Okay, there you go. That knuckle.
Right in there.
All right, so this is nice and hot. I'm going to pull this out. We're going to see if we can't get it welded here. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to pull this without dropping the tip off here. Got the anvil?
Yes.
That felt like it set really well. I'm still going to call that superficial at best. Put that back in. Bring it up to another welding heat.
Yep, Brian. We live just a bit south of Alpena. Oh, thank you everyone for the super chats. Scroll to those.
Woohoo! Got some super chats, eh?
We do. Black Collar Ironworks sent $10. He says, "But Roy, you already have the Army's address." Smiley face.
All right, have the what?
The Army's address.
The Army's address?
Yep.
We do have his address, don't we?
We do. Should we be expecting the Adams family visiting the fort at Burt Pot Pies? Would be happy to cook for you all. Smiley face.
He'll burn them good?
Burn them extra crispy.
Oh. Love, I really can't hear you, babe. You got to start projecting a bit more.
Sure.
I can't hear you, so.
Iron Room Forge sent a $50 super chat. Said, "Thanks for the live stream. I need to go now, but have a great weekend."
Well, don't go. We're just about ready to give away that Swage block. I just wanted to make these successful welds first. But thank you so much for the super chat. God bless you, and you have a great weekend.
Keith Miller sent a $5 super sticker that says critical hit, and it's like a little controller, like going bam.
Thank you, Heath. Thank you very much.
Solomon Mastoff says, is welding all by feel?
Some by sight, some by feel. You can feel when it consolidates. So if it's not consolidating, when your hammer hits it, it'll kind of feel dead, almost like your hammer really didn't do a whole lot. And then all of a sudden, as you're hammering on it, when the weld sets, it'll kind of mush. Everything will kind of mush together. It'll feel like you just hit Play-Doh versus kind of hitting a board. You know, if you put a board on top of another board and hit it, kind of kill the hammer blow, and it doesn't really go together it's not going to hammer the board together. There's no nail, glue, or anything else. But if you put a bit of, plasticine or Play-Doh between those boards and then you hit it, that mushing feeling you feel, that's how you know you got a weld on there. Or at least it was molten enough that it could stick or fuse together. Now, is it fully welded at that point? No. Nope, it's not fully welded at that point. You still got a ton of refining that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to bring it back up to another full weld again and keep driving it. When you think you got it welded, just keep driving it, because it's probably not all the way across. So.
Gordon Farmer says, peace, respect, and keep them forges burning. I'm out to boot a cat and a fox for fighting outside my bedroom.
Gordon Farmer, thank you for being here, brother. All right. Who wants to draw for the Swage block, huh?
We should.
Let's do that.
One more real quick. Thank you, Patrick Breslin, for the $5 super chat.
Hey, thank you, Patrick. Greatly appreciate that. God bless you.
Should I give them a heads up they can begin chatting for the Swage block?
All right, yep. So this is going to be Swage block number 5, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to be giving away Swage block number 5. Thank you so much to Greg over there at Holland Anvil for helping us, be able to provide these Swage blocks out there and to be able to get them shipped out. We are giving these away. They're completely free to you. They'll be shipped straight from Holland Anvil, the manufacturer of them. And if you do need some Swage blocks, you want to get in on a great deal, you got to go talk to Greg over at Holland Anvil. He's a real great guy, and he does a lot for blacksmithing out there, organizations and schools and events, by always showing out support and providing anvils and Swage blocks and all sorts of tools like that. So definitely go show him some love and some support over there on his business. And if you're in the market for a Swage block that you want to buy, assuming that you don't win this one. So thank you, Greg. And it's Hobie, right? Uh-huh. Greg and Hobie, thank you so much for your patronage in that way, and helping us to be able to give these out to some lucky member of our community. Greatly appreciated. So, like it will go, like it always goes. What do you need to do? Nothing at all. We're just going to ring the anvil. All you have to do is comment. That's it. You don't have to give us your blood type. You don't have to give us your mother's maiden name. You don't have to do anything else other than contact us with your contact email in the description when we pull your name. Mm-hmm. Good?
That's correct.
And we'll ship that right out to you.
Yep, and
Ready?
I think you said this already. 50 states plus.
Yep, it's in the 50 United States and Puerto Rico, right?
That is
apparently.
correct.
So if you're in Puerto Rico, you're a lucky individual. You're one of those states that it can be shipped to economically. All right, we ready?
Yep, and they're trying to break the chat.
All right, and let's go. Who do we have, Jess?
I landed on Toomphy Floyd, who says
Who?
Swage me. Toomphy Floyd.
Toofy Floyd?
Close enough.
All right, Toofy Floyd, congratulations. You are the winner of the Swage block. You have to get with us through the contact email down in the description down below. And I will, and again, it's open to the United States residents. So if you're not a United States resident or in
Let us
South
know.
America, I guess,
Yeah, let us know. We'll have to draw a runner-up.
then we'll have to draw a runner-up. But, but thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for all the super chatters who've went out of their way to give us your money, to help us really with the shipping costs of all this, things like that. It's greatly appreciated. Can't thank you enough. We're honored. We really are. We're honored for all that support. Thank you for everybody who became Bellows Boy, especially the Black Collar Army, again, multiple times. That's always greatly appreciated. Oh. All right, I think we might be coming up to a welding heat here again.
All right.
So I want to take one more weld on this. I'm kind of committed now.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten it to this point. I kind of have to be committed.
Yeah.
Are you at the anvil?
Yes. In preparation.
All right, let's go for it. Yeah, not super confident. Nope. It's stuck on one edge, but not all the way across. All right, well, that's all we have time for this one this time around, but it's stuck on one edge, but it's not all the way across. So I need to get this thing hotter and get the big blower out on it. Oh, come on. And now it's coming off on all edges.
Oh no.
Ah! That's all right. We'll set that off to the side. Just pretend in your mind that Roy is a really great smith and he's not going to go and use the arc welder later and get everything arc welded together and everything welded beautifully the first time. Just go there and imagine in your mind. Go to that quiet place. Oh, sing Kumbaya. Oh, it was going so well. I pushed it. I shouldn't have kept running on it, but that's all right. Good enough. I got to get that bigger blower out and use that instead. We'll actually be able to get some heat into it. That's the biggest problem. The wrought iron likes to be almost white hot when it's welding, and it's really hard to get it there and keep your hammer face from burning up at the same time. So, you know, the hammer face wants to melt to nothing while the wrought iron still hasn't, is like, oh, this is a warm summer breeze. So take a little bit more time. It's going to take a little bit more focus from me specifically to get that weld to work out all right, but that's how the cookie crumbles.
Keith Miller, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, thanks for the live stream. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Heath. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your watch time. Yeah, thanks for coming back. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like it's been a little while since we've done a good live stream. At least 2 weeks, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, at least 2 weeks. So, you know, which, again, we were at Troy over at Bar Run Forges live stream there last weekend. Mm-hmm. And that was a lot of fun, ton of fun. Glad to be there. That was a long discussion. Mm-hmm. And it was a good hangout time, great dinner. And thank you, Troy and Eli, for having us, by the way. If they're still in the chat, they're somewhere lurking about. It was a good time. And yeah. Fun times. I have a ton of things planned How much I'll get it done, I don't know. I have a garden bench class coming up in Goshen, Ohio. For anybody who's interested in that, it's going to be using wedged joinery to join the garden bench together. So there's going to be a lot of slot punched or slit and drifted holes with, basically a wedged joinery that holds everything together. You see that in like woodworking, but you can do it in steel as well. So we'll be working on that. It's going to be quite a substantial bench. I'm going to be cutting 2-inch thick slabs here at the house. I'll be milling those out, sawmilling those up, and then be bringing the wood with us, and it's going to be a good time. But that'll be in July. I think it's at tail end of July, the end.
Yes.
Yep.
July 24th and 25th.
Okay. Yep. 24th and 25th is where that'll be at in July. So if you have interest, let Jamie know that you're interested in the class and reserve your spot. They're probably going to fill up quick. There will be an additional charge that I'm going to have to charge for all the excess materials and steel because it is not your normal class. Most people don't do benches and things like that, so there's going to be an additional charge for materials. But I'll be working on that. Hopefully, over the next month or so, I will have all of that math figured out because I plan on making one ahead of class, so to, have a full garden bench made. That's basically it for me. There's going to be a ton of videos coming out still. There'll be some that'll seem like they're a little out of order or like they're kind of old. Well, that's because they are. I haven't had the chance to sit down and edit them yet. So some will be from like a month ago that are in the till. Good content, but just it's taken forever for me to clear my headspace to get around to them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, great content on the horizon. Jess? Mm-hmm. More from you? Or
Rob Huff says he's looking forward to that garden bench class.
Looking forward to seeing you there, Rob.
And Woodland Ironworks says, thank you guys for all you do and the effort you've put into creating an amazing database of great information.
Very, very welcome. Very, very welcome. We got over 1,550 videos officially. Well over 1,550 videos of, content on YouTube now, which is just insane to talk about and to think of. It's a bunch. It's like, wow. When people say, well, what have you been doing with your life over the last 5 years? I'm like, well, yep, that, basically. Mm-hmm. It's like that, YouTube. That's it. Mm-hmm. Cataloging videos. My daily life. Basically. No.
Yep.
What else you got?
Jesse Garza says that will be a really cool class. Any chance for a live stream on it? I was a little rusty. I tried to do a live stream from the cell phone at Jamie's house, and number one, the phones were shutting off because it was so darn hot, and then number two, I couldn't figure out how to. I think she'll have better reception at the actual Goshen building. Jamie's house, it's like solid steel siding roof, we could
like within 8 feet of you, and so that really messes with cell phone signals and things like that. But I think in his shop, I think it'll work out all right. In the actual Goshen school shop, she might be able to pull off a live stream. We'll see what we can't do. What we can't do on that. But it'd be fun. It'd be fun to be able to do that, at least for part of a day anyhow, to do that. So
Rob Huff says maybe we should make that a night class so we don't melt, LOL.
We may just have to. It might be like a 5 a.m. to noon class kind of deal, and the rest of the day we just all go skinny dipping down at the creek or something. Like that'll be the class activities. Imagine that on a flyer, a blacksmithing flyer. Forging in the morning, skinny dipping in the afternoon. People will be like, what? I'm not going to this freak class. Especially if they've seen Rob's profile pic. Or mine. They'll be like, oh no, ain't going there. What else we got, hun?
Wishes for a good Memorial Day weekend.
Say what? Wishes for good Memorial Day? Yep.
Yep.
Hope you all have a good Memorial Day as well. And that'll be all good. Everybody will eat hot dogs and remember what it's all about. And while you're cramming your face with burgers and whatever else you get into. Potato salad. Well, anywho, so thank you all for being here. Had a blast. Had a real fun time. Expect a lot of great content still coming out. There's a whole bunch of good stuff. And yeah, I don't got nothing else left to say. Thank you for watching me fail twice on camera. But we did good. We gave away a lot of stuff, huh?
We did, yeah. They enjoyed it.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to dry it up. God bless each and every last one of you. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you all on the next one. Bye now.